Paletta Park encompasses two specific obstacles: invasive species like buckthorn, white mulberry, and multiflora rose that need to be removed, and the area replanted with native vegetation, as well as unofficial trails that park users have created in their desire to be closer to the creek. The eco-restoration students got to do some field work by taking measurements of the trails and mapping the plant species, then recommending a remediation plan.
The other thing that they were doing is they were looking at how the creek has moved through time. So they were using aerial imagery and mapping where the creek had changed. And what they found that you were losing perhaps 20 centimeters a year in erosion. And that's maybe doesn't sound a lot, but when you multiply many years, that can potentially be a problem.
So you're creating creeks that are wider and shallower. So depending on the type of creek, whether it's a cold or warm water creek, you're going to change the creek shape and the ecology and what that creek can support.
That was the first year of a new partnership with Niagara College in 2022. The following year, another group of students took on restoration work, this time at Hidden Valley Park. Again, removing many of the same invasive species, plus Japanese barberry and invasive honeysuckle. Sinclair says the students mapped each of them and came up with a management plan. In any of these projects, there are the obvious benefits that come from improving the environment and ensuring urban natural areas are safe for visitors. But the students are also gaining an important part of their education: hands-on, boots-on-the-ground experience in preparation for employment.
What does it look like to be at a particular location that has a series of constraints, some of which you can control, some of which you can't, some of which have timelines, some which have permitting, some which have costs, and all of the other things that you have to manage. And that's really important, and that's great for the students to be able to see.
The Hidden Valley project also included a new partner, Conservation Halton, and they brought in the wider community by hosting a tree planting day. On this occasion, 200 native trees and shrubs went into the ground, also helping with restoration of the shoreline on this creek.
We're seeing erosion, we're seeing deterioration along our creek side, and just that contribution of the invasive species as well is degrading the habitat. So we're planting a bunch of native trees and shrubs that are going to help, their roots are going to go nice and deep and help to reduce erosion along our creek side and support the floodplain. So when the creek rises and it spills the banks into the floodplain, these trees are going to be able to soak that up.
The partnership is now in its third year and seems to be benefiting everyone.
The partnerships help us to pool our resources and get a lot more done.
We get to work with people on the leading edge of the industry in ecosystem restoration. And the students, they get to work on a real project that has immediate impacts.
We have young, enthusiastic people who have some time and a focused effort at sites where people may know that they have concerns, but they may not have the time, it may not be high enough on the priority list. And we can come in and do things for them quite quickly that they may not be able to do on their own or within their time frame they're working on.
As Malin looks back on the work that was done on that first project at Paletta Park, she sees that vegetation is regrowing and the new boundaries are being respected. One step along the path towards keeping Burlington's urban forests healthy. Jason Trout for Halton News in Burlington.